So let's talk about credit. Okay, so we talked a little bit about this last time with the credit cards. This time we're going to look at a problem that's more specifically about credit, just borrowing money and different kinds of borrowing money. Okay, so we've got an example here. We're going to use the TVM solver for it. You can even see that I just did the other problem because that information is still there. Okay, so we're going to start with Liam here. So Liam wants to buy a carving. He thinks it's going to cost him about $3,900, and he's considering two credit options. The first is a bank loan at 4% compounded monthly to be repaid in one payment at the end of the term. Doesn't say what the term is though. And a line of credit, which has a limit of $10,000 and an interest rate of 2% compounded daily to be repaid in 16 monthly payments. So we have a term there. Now, there is some extraneous information here, but we'll go through that later. The actual question, though, Liam chose the bank loan when he found out the interest amount would be the same. What is the term for Liam's bank loan? Okay, so how long is that loan? Okay, so we'll note here that we have that the interest would be the same as the line of credit, but we don't know how much that is. So we're going to use this one to find the interest for this one so that we can find the term. Okay, so a few steps here. Basically, we're going to start with that line of credit. Okay, starting with the line of credit. Now, a line of credit is kind of like a pre-approved loan that you can draw upon. It's like it's an extended amount of credit to the lender, right? You have it agreed upon with your bank, and you can borrow that money when you need it. In this case, the limit is $10,000. $3,900 is less than that, so you can use line of credit here. Okay, so let's use our information here. So we have our N, our term there, with a number of payments, I%, the present value, the payments, the future value, the payments per year, and the compounding periods per year. Okay, so now we can put all this together here, and we'll figure out what we're missing. Okay, so we know that we've got 16 payments, so we got a 16 in our N here. We know that our interest rate is going to be 2%. Or we're just going to keep it as 2 since that's how it works. The present value is just the value of the carving. So 3,900. Right, that's how much he's borrowing, so it's positive going towards him. Payments, we're not told what the payments are. We're told that there are 16 of them, but we don't know how many, or rather how much is each payment worth. That's a question mark. Future value, well, eventually we want to pay this down to 0. Right? We want to pay it all back. Payments per year, the payments are monthly, so it's 12. And compounds per year, it says it is compounded daily, so 365 days in a year. Okay, so looks like we're solving for payments, which makes sense since we have to find the interest, which means we need to know how much they paid for how long. Okay, so let's enter all the information on the right here. So all the information is entered here. So all I've done is just stick it over from one side to the other. So all we have to do now is solve for PMT. And we get $247.22. So $247.22. So we know that this is the payment that is made every month. And we know that there are 16 months of payments to be made. So if we multiply those together, we'll get the total payments, or the total amount that was paid, so that we can use that to find the interest. Okay, so 247.22 times 16 will give us $3,955.52. Okay, so that's the line of credit done. Now we need to look at the bank loan. Okay, so this is going to require a little bit more clever thinking about, clever thinking about how to use the solver here. So let's write down all the information here. So N, we know is what we're looking for. We're looking for the term. The I%, we know that the I% is going to be 4%. Present value, we're still starting with $3,900. The payment, this time we've only got one payment right at the end, so we're just going to say the payment is 0. And then we'll just owe that money at the end, and that'll tell us what we're doing here, because what we're going to do is we're going to use the future value as the amount of money we're going to owe at the end. So negative 3955.52, or in other words, this is how much money we're giving back at the end. Since it's only one payment, we can use it as the future value here. Payments per year, we're just going to keep as 1. And the compounding periods per year says it compounds monthly, so we're going to keep that as 12. Okay, so let's just move that information over to the right here. Okay, so all this information here now. So all we have to do is we have to just hit that solve for n button, and we get 0.35. Right, so all we've done is we've said it's got 4% interest. We are borrowing 3,900. At the end, we are going to have to give back 3,955 since we know that the interest is the same. And the payments per year is 1 just as a default. Compounds per year is 12 because it's monthly, and that gives us our n equals 0.35. Okay, so because the unit for this comes from the unit for P per Y, we know that this unit is years since it's once per year. So once per year, and then this one will be in years. So 0.35 years, or if we wanted to, we could multiply that by 12 months per year, like that. And that will give us, that's 12 times 0.35, giving us 4.2 months, roughly, right? So a lot shorter in terms of the time, but the payment is going to be much larger. So you can see why Liam may have chosen this option if they have that money to spend, or will have it in those 4 months. But someone who might not have that money in 4 months might choose this option instead, to just pay the smaller payments over a longer period of time, since you are paying the same amount by the end. Okay, so this kind of problem is important to know about because it allows you to, especially when making large purchases, to figure out where that money is going to come from. Because oftentimes we don't have that kind of money in pocket, so knowing where to get those loans, how to get those loans, how those loans work out in the long run, and how that's going to affect your finances in the long run is an important calculation to be able to make.